I'm Jeff Fischel with the Commissioner, John Swofford, now of a 15-school Atlantic Coast Conference. John, I want to start with something, well, we see a lot of people talking about your nickname now. You've picked up the nickname, the Ninja. I'm going to read the definition here. A person skilled in the traditional Japanese technique of espionage, characterized by stealthy movement and camouflage. Why do you think you picked up this nickname?
Well, I don't know. I found it amusing, actually, but the most important thing is our conference is in a really good place right now as a 15-member conference, and we're tremendously well positioned for the future.
Clearly, it reflects upon the moves you've been able to make as commissioner to strengthen the conference. So what does July 1st mean to you?
Well, it means a lot because of that positioning and the strength that I think we now have and how well positioned we are for the future. We've got 15 terrific schools that really fit together tremendously well, academically, athletically, geographically. We run the full gamut of the East Coast now, as well as bringing in Notre Dame and to some degree Louisville with a little bit of Midwest flair. So it's an exciting time in this conference.
How's the growth now different than it was when you expanded the conference a decade ago?
Well, I think this time around it went much smoother in terms of the process itself, first of all, and I think it sort of completes what we did the first time around with the 12 schools, which I think strengthened us tremendously at that point. I think this strengthens us that much more and fills in the gaps on the East Coast and brings us Louisville and Notre Dame on top of that, Louisville next year, but currently Notre Dame, along with Pitt and Syracuse, which just gives us tremendous strength up and down the eastern seaboard.
Now, another compliment nickname you picked up was the man who saved college football after the grant of rights deal. How important was that, not only for the ACC, but all of college football?
Well, it was extremely important for the ACC because I think it ensured the future of our league. Not that I particularly had doubts about that, but I think it took a verbal commitment that our schools had made and really made that verbal commitment tangible and really put strength in that commitment. So we're committed to each other as institutions and as a 15-member league for a long period of time now. The fact that it helps solidify the collegiate landscape overall, I think, is tremendous as well. That's not why we did it. The circumstances were such that it's had that impact, and I think will have that impact, at least with the 5 power conferences for the next 15 years.
Now, the thing a lot of people ask me about on Twitter is about an ACC channel. What's the latest on that?
Well, we are evaluating that with the ESPN, our television partner. We think it has a lot of merit, but it'll take a 2 to 3 year period to really evaluate it. And if we find that it's a viable business venture for the Atlantic Coast Conference and for ESPN, then that's what we'll do. We think it has a lot of potential.
Could we see you hosting a show maybe?
I doubt it. Maybe you, but I'm not so sure I would be hosting one.
I asked people about that. I asked, so do you have any ideas of a show Commissioner Swofford could host? And someone said Dish with Swaff. I was thinking maybe that could be a cooking show. Do you cook?
I don't cook. That'd be a short 5-minute segment if it were a cooking show.
Fair enough. Another thing that's come up a lot is the topic of New York as a possible destination for the ACC basketball tournament. What are your thoughts right now on where that stands?
Well, we're evaluating that as well. That's a work in progress, so to speak. New York is New York. It's the media capital of the world. It's now a part of our footprint, so we think it's certainly important to the future of the ACC. Our schools will ultimately make that decision. A lot of that will depend on availability of venue and what venues are available in that area. But it's something we are interested in, and I think our schools will look at it, Jeff, as something where you try and mesh the tradition and history of the tournament in North Carolina with what's best for the future of the new footprint.
I talked to the coaches at Amelia Island. It sounded like they were genuinely interested in seeing at least be there sometimes.
Well, I think they are, and for good reason. It's anytime you play in New York, it brings a great deal of attention to your program nationally, and it's a very fertile recruiting ground. So now that it's a part of our footprint, we certainly need to take a look at that.
I want to end with one last question I got on Twitter for you. How much longer do you want to do this?
Well, I don't know. All I can tell you is right now I enjoy doing it very much. And my plans for the future, at least near term, are to continue to do so as long as this great conference will afford me the opportunity to continue leading it.
Well, you've certainly seen it grow now to 15 members, including Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Notre Dame. He's John Swofford. I'm Jeff Fischel. You're watching the ACC Digital Network.